Hello and welcome back to the AI Marketers Playbook, where we cover actionable frameworks to help you leverage AI and marketing strategies in your business. I'm Audrey Chia, your host, and today I have with me Shaz Matthew, the founder of AttractAI.io. Now, he is a self-taught entrepreneur who pivoted from a degree in biology to building a multi-six-figure AI-powered business that is currently helping brands grow on social media. So, from building no code automations to crafting outbound funnels that actually convert, Shaz has worked with clients across multiple industries and countries, and he has just been getting started. Shaz, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's really great to be here.
I would love to hear from you, like how did you get started on this journey and building, the startup that you currently are running right now?
Yeah, it's been a wild ride, and I think what most people point out is the fact that I did get a degree in biology. So I'll give you the really short rundown. So I've always liked entrepreneurship. At about 16, I started trading stocks, selling shoes, the whole deal. Tried all the hustles I could online. And fast forward to about junior year in university, I was studying integrated biology on like a medicine route. And the ChatGPT came out. I'll never forget it, sitting down in my apartment at college, playing around with it, and just thinking through the business applications and the overall applications. I was like, this is no way. There's no way this technology doesn't just change the world radically. So from that point on, I put school second. Sorry, mom and dad. And I went all in on AI. Just self-learn through YouTube, playing around with ChatGPT, learning the ins and outs of how these things work from a person that has no technical background at all. So I really dove into it at that point. And a few months later, mid 2023, I launched AttractAI.io. And ever since then, I've been working with different clients and eventually found our niche of helping people grow their brands. I really do enjoy social media and content. I think it's a great leverage piece for your business. And now we use AI and content to not only help myself, but help other people as well. So that's like a very short, brief summary of the story, how I've gotten here.
Wow, super cool. And I'm so curious to know, right? Did you try different ideas with AI or did you just immediately land on Attract AI?
Yeah, so it was very random. So one thing I always helped me starting off was I always did media to fuel leads for my business. So I started YouTube about 2023, mid 2023, talking about AI on the internet. So really broad applications of using ChatGPT, building no code workflows, just trying to put myself out there. And because I got a little bit early into the game, I got requests from all different types of businesses. So I ended up working with real estate companies, tax firms, personal people with personal brands, camera installation companies, like really random, things. So at that point, anyone that would pay me, I was sort of taking the project, right, and learning as I go. And over time, I realized that, YouTube was doing really well for us. It was booking in calls for us left and right. And I had a background in AI automation at that point. So I really packaged up my love for social media and then my knowledge with AI and automation. And that sort of birthed the offer that we've been running right now, which is helping people grow their brands to get leads with AI. So it took a while to get to that point, but yeah, it took me about a year to really niche down to what I'm doing now.
And I think there's a lot of to unpack there, right? So you're helping businesses build a brand, and then that brings in leads with AI, right? And those are three very big, juicy topics. So
Yeah.
maybe let's talk about building a brand first, right? So for businesses that are maybe new to, I know a lot of businesses have social platforms, but not many are leveraging it super well. So for
Yeah.
businesses that are, online but not very visible, how do you build a brand that works for them?
Great question. So, my philosophy when it comes to online social media is from an acquisition point of view, not a virality point of view. I think a lot of people conflate the two being the same. So, going viral, getting millions of views, they sometimes equate that with business success, which is, don't get me wrong, it's great to get millions of views. But if you're in a B2B market, you're selling high ticket services, you only need to reach a handful of the right audience to really see success from social media, especially on channels like YouTube or places even like LinkedIn. If you're getting 100 to 200 qualified engagements per post from people that are in your ICP that are going to buy your stuff, you're in a really good position. So I think a lot of people fall into this viral trap where, they're not reaching millions of people and, they see the Mr. Beast online and they're like, well, my reach isn't like that. I think that's one of the biggest things that you could avoid when you start is just really dial in who you're targeting, the reason you want to target these people, and then go at content from that way. So that's like on the organic side of things. And the second part to that is make sure you have a good strategy to convert these viewers into buyers, which again, we're looking at social media from an acquisition point of view. It's great to get the attention, but if you don't have a nice landing page or a newsletter or a community or whatever your sort of mechanism is there, you want to make sure it's thoroughly mapped out so people not only view your stuff, but they get engaged so they can hop on a call and they can eventually work with you. So that's sort of the way we're attacking branding online. It's reaching the right people and making sure you give them clear direction to go from social media to working with you.
What you mentioned about not just chasing the vanity matrix, right, but
Yep.
chasing the matrix that matter, like your book calls, actually getting qualified leads. That definitely helps a business to find their focus a lot more and really just chase the right things so
Yeah.
that they can secure those conversations. Now, you also talked about bringing the leads in, right? So, what do you think is like the specific, maybe strategy or framework that you guys are using that helps businesses turn those online views into that lead? Because a lot of people are posting content but not necessarily seeing leads generated from it.
Yeah. Great question. So I would say it depends on your business, but the overall framework we use is, let's say we're booking calls. Like we mainly work with B2B companies, so let's say that's the goal. If you want to book calls from your content, depending on the stage you're in business, you want to have like links in your description or call to actions that match your place in business. So for example, let's say that you're super busy and you only want qualified calls, then you would want something like a VSL funnel or a website or a landing page to increase the friction of people booking a call with you. All this does is basically mean that when people click on your stuff, that they go through all of your questions on your calendar, they go through your website, and when they get to the call, they're qualified and they're not wasting your time. On the opposite side, if you're struggling to get leads or you're not necessarily at the revenue point you want to do, decrease friction. So simply just very simple, put a calendar link in your bio of your channel and say, schedule a free XYZ session with me, and we could go over XYZ topic, right? Whatever is related to your niche. This is like the most bare bones, simple way to do it. And I see a lot of people that are just starting off have like a super fancy landing page or a website, which is cool, but you're at that point increasing the friction for people to actually get on calls with you, which is what you don't want. So depending on where you are on that scale, you just want to either increase friction or decrease friction through these mediums of like landing pages and stuff to make sure people are actually hopping on calls with you. And that's sort of the framework we give people depending on where they are.
And I think one other interesting thing that we can look at from a content point of view, right, is what type of content would intrigue someone to book a call. Because, for
Mm.
example, on LinkedIn, you will see a lot of top of funnel content that drives visibility, like the viral trends, the
Yep.
memes, right, the motivational quotes. But I think that those types of content are not going to be geared towards getting a prospect to say, yes, I want to work with you. So, from your experience and working with clients, what types of content have been the most effective in then getting that next step?
Yeah, you nailed it. So the content funnel is something that everyone should understand, and it's super simple. You have the top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel. Top of funnel is for virality. It's for reaching people. It's for growing your brand. It's for getting followers, which is definitely necessary, but doesn't drive sales. Middle of funnel is educating people on what you do, how you do it, why what you're doing is important, etc. And then bottom of funnel is proving that, once they see you and they understand what you do, it's proving that you're the person that's skilled in XYZ topic. And bottom of funnel, middle of funnel is really where you're going to make your conversion. So what I see work really well in terms of content, I'll take it like a middle funnel and bottom funnel approach, is reversing the pain points of your audience. It's the most simple way to start with content. So if you're a Google Ads agency targeting local businesses, like a common example, go to your clients, ask them what they're struggling with in terms of ads, and then just turn those videos, or those pain points, into videos. So they're going to struggle with ad setup. They're going to struggle with, managing their spend. Those are pain points that need to be addressed, and you could do that through social media. So that's like middle of funnel. It's literally educating your audience. And then bottom of funnel does super well. The best thing you could do there is show social proof, case studies, client interviews, anything that shows that you are the man or woman for the job when it comes to XYZ topic and helping people. So I say, yeah, top of funnel is great, and it's very easy to make top of funnel content. You just have to be super broad and, like you said, hop on trends. The middle of funnel and bottom of funnel is what sets you apart in terms of like acquisition, because you have to show that you're really good at a topic by explaining it, and then two, you have to show that you've done it before by giving case studies and past results and etc. So that's sort of how I think about getting or making content that actually gets conversions and people to work with you.
And I love that, like, we go back to the basics of marketing, right? A lot of people talk about social media as a social channel, but it's a media channel in which you can leverage the same marketing funnel and marketing tactics in order to drive results for your business. I think that a lot of founders also are perhaps still relatively conservative when it comes to leveraging their personal brands,
Yeah.
and they are still leaning heavily on their company brands. Have you noticed that as well, or do the clients you work with, are they more open to starting to build their personal brands on socials?
That's a really, really good question because we're seeing a shift from people buying from people instead of companies. That's so when we work with people, we highly recommend that the branding and the social media channels we set up for them, the branding is for them. It's literally their first and last name, and it's not XYZ company. I have dozens of people that have worked with us, and I doubt they know our company's name. They just know who I am, and they want to work with me, and by extension, they're working with our company. So our framework around that is like 90% of the time, you want it to be your first and last name. I think that's a good way to go about it. If you're a SaaS company, I think things do get a little bit different where you might want to throw your SaaS company's name out there on your YouTube channel or whatever. But I think that, people should be leaning into their personal brands because it's more personal, right? You're going to relate with the founder, and by extension, you might want to buy their product and not the other way around anymore. So that's sort of what we're doing. And then also from just a aesthetic point of view, a person is a lot more likely to click on like a profile picture of a face with a person and a bio rather than like some company logo. That's just a shift I think that a lot of people are seeing just for the sake of like being relatable to who you're watching. You don't want to watch a logo, a company logo. You want to watch a person and see what they're going through. And then it's like, okay, cool. If they have a company, then they have a company, but I'm watching it for the sake of connecting with this person over the screen. We really recommend people to start personal brands and not company brands, but it depends really on your goals and what company you run.
I think the shift that I personally have noticed is there are a few very smart companies, for example, Icon, that leverages personal branding, company branding, and influencer branding. So they have built a new type of marketing funnel in which you're leveraging both your personal and company brands and other people's profiles to build that brand presence. And I believe that that is going to be the future of B2B marketing, where it's a lot more robust than just putting an ad or an ebook out there and
Yeah.
waiting for someone to click.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I did see how they're approaching it as well, and I think you could almost relate if you even see Icon, like the company name, you can sort of see the founder in your head. So like they've accomplished both, where they have both mediums, which is obviously is ideal. I think it's easier to relate your company after you've built a personal brand than relating yourself after building your company's brand, if that makes sense. So yeah, they've been able to crush it, and I do agree with you. I think that's the ideal state you want to be.
Yeah. Speaking of which, right, so now we've talked about content and brand building. We've talked about lead gen. Now, where does AI come into play in this full grand scheme of things?
Yeah, so AI is a pure efficiency play and a pure scale play. So we use AI not as the end all be all in marketing. I think that there is a lot of stuff out there where it's like, let it run on autopilot, let it automate all your posts, let it do all this stuff, which it can do. I'm in the frame of mind that you could use it as a strategic partner, almost like a content partner. So what it could do for you is not only can it ideate, but it could script, it could give you feedback, it could repurpose. Like there's a lot of different things that AI can accomplish that would just simply just take you either a team or it would just take too much of your time. So the way we use AI is for a few main things. I'll cover a few of them. One is content research. I think that if you feed AI like Claude or ChatGPT your ideal audience, it's really good at picking out your audience's pain points or anticipated pain points, and then again, reworking those pain points. So you have a lot of ideas. Two is titles and scripts. So if you have scripts or titles like for YouTube, for example, that have performed well in the past, or you maybe bought a course before and they have some templates for you to run off of, it's very easy to say, hey, Claude, create a Claude project or a GPT. Hey, Claude, this is my idea. Can you formulate this into 3 titles and let me pick which one is best? So it's just really taking the brain power of you not having to do that and it's applying it for you. Like that's really the key here. So, in the time it takes for you to make one YouTube video a few years ago, now you can make 2, right? And if you do that over the course of a year, you're essentially doubling the output with less work, which is like the sort of the key of AI here. So yeah, we cover ideation, we cover sort of title and packaging, and three is we use it for repurposing a lot. So we like to repurpose down. So I'm on YouTube majority of the time, and I like to repurpose down to LinkedIn, Twitter, and again, it's not writing these like crazy detailed posts. It's more so giving me ideas, giving me frameworks, giving me a starting point, so I don't have to do that myself. And then I'll go in as a human being, I'll edit it 15, 20%, and then it's done. So that's sort of what we're seeing is it's able to save us time and effectively double our output without doubling our workload, which is how we're able to use it.
Yeah. And I think it's beautiful that you don't need to build a new AI system or workflow. You can leverage existing tools that are out there and then plug it into your workflows to then
Yep.
give you that cost savings and maximize your returns for yourself and your clients, right?
Yeah, so I do agree with that. I think content for everyone is like a creative process. That's why I do like it. Like the way you're going to sit down and script out your LinkedIn is different than the way I'm going to do so. So we could build out workflows around, what's working for us, which I think is really, really cool. So that's another advantage of these no-code platforms and learning automation and learning AI is you could just tailor it to you, right? Our biggest advantage going forward, and this is a little bit off topic, but I think authenticity and being yourself is going to be your moat, if you will, going forward. There'll only ever be one of you, one of me. No one can replace it. So just being you and weaving that into your content is going to be key. And then AI helps you do that if you just give it knowledge of you and then give it knowledge of your goals and social media templates. That's pretty much a really good match there for you to leverage.
Just as you were speaking of that, right, I was thinking about a potential future where we could see Shaz AI clone building out content on YouTube that looks hyper realistic. And I don't think that is an impossible future. What do you
Yeah.
think? Do you think that that's something we would see?
Yeah, 100%. We've had many requests for, HeyGen avatars. HeyGen's a platform that allows you to build avatars. People want LinkedIn script writers that sound like them. Like there's a huge future for it, and it's pretty much here when it comes to avatars and automating your content with like you literally not even having to be involved. And again, what cuts through that I think is authenticity and also YouTube. That's why I'm huge on YouTube. I think my theory around YouTube, it's going to be the last human-centric platform. LinkedIn and Twitter, like these written platforms are very easy to use AI on, obviously. And then you have short form, which is going to be AI avatars to an extent. I think a 15 to 20-minute YouTube video, which is like you displaying expertise, is going to be something that AI has a hard time replicating, at least for the time being. Maybe in a few years, it could get up a whiteboard and have you drawing and stuff. But I think it's a great place to build right now because you could build an authentic relationship by being you. It's one of the only platforms that solves like touch points for the human being at like all points, meaning they could see you, they could listen to you, they could hear you. It's a really good place for your audience to actually know you. And I think that's what builds the most amount of trust, and trust is what gets people to buy from you. So that's sort of my theory around why we're so big on YouTube, because AI avatars and all these things are coming, and it's just a way for us to sort of hedge against that eventually.
Definitely. I think it's a very smart way of looking at how social media channels are going to evolve with AI and what platforms you might want to be on in order to better leverage your skill sets. And I know you talked a lot about building that brand mode, right? So let's like dive into that because brand mode is something that may be familiar for company brands, but I think
Yeah.
for personal brands, right? How does someone build that brand mode? Like, what makes them unique? What makes them distinct? What needs to come through in their content in order to build that mode?
Great question. So it's something we think about a lot. And I think one, I'll briefly say it again, is authenticity. It's just be you and talk about the wins, the losses, what you've learned, who you've worked with, all of these things, because these are unique to you. And anything that is unique to you is not you, like not replaceable, essentially. So if you just be authentic in your content, just shoot it straight, be you. I think that's a really big thing. Two is sort of videos like this or videos within your network where, you're obviously not AI because you're talking with another person on a podcast, you're in an in-person meeting, you're at a mastermind, like things where, you physically have to be there or, I guess we're not physically there, but you're sort of on a screen talking to another person. I think those are also good things that you could do for your brand. It's a great way to connect, and it's also a great way to show people authenticity, your story, etc. Another thing that should shine through in your content, I think, is trying to relate your past experiences to the problem you're solving. So for example, we're doing AI for social media. The reason that I do this is because I struggle with social media. So I automated it for myself. Thus, I helped other people automate it as well. So if you have alignment with what you're selling, you should definitely talk about it. You should definitely say, I was here before I built the system. Now I'm here. Now I'm here to help you do the same thing. So people will relate to that. And, by nature of relating, trust builds buyers. So that's a few things I think could shine through.
And I think being able to capture all of that, right, also allows you to build that brand for yourself that compounds over time. I think it's the one thing that keeps giving you exponential ROI, even without you investing more dollars into it. Every other marketing channel demands a level of investment, and the more reach you want to achieve, the bigger the investment you have to make. So organic socials, building a personal brand is definitely a channel that you want to think about. For your company, Attract AI, I think you guys have served more than 20 over clients and made over 250K in revenue, right? Tell us more about what makes your company so successful compared to, the many other AI tools that really talk about content repurposing, content generation.
Yeah.
What makes you guys so different, and how do you help your clients to secure those deals?
Yeah, great point. So there are a lot of AI repurposing tools out there, right? So from a standpoint of like, we're not rebuilding anything crazy. We're not reinventing the wheel here with content repurposing, right? But the approach we take is we're not going to give you a tool to self-use. We're going to help you use the thing and build a strategy behind it. So for example, I like to think about it in the way where, if you've never been on social media and I give you an AI scriptwriter, that's great. It might help you, but it's not going to allow you to grow on social media just because you have this thing. You still need strategy. You still need to post the right ideas. So AI might help you with efficiency, but efficiency is not going to help strategy necessarily. Like you could be super efficient and go in the complete opposite direction of the way you're supposed to go. Like you could run twice as fast the wrong way. So we help you with strategy and we also help you with the actual execution of the video. So a repurposing tool, let's say for YouTube, there's a bunch of YouTube script writers out there using AI, right? If you go to these SaaS tools, you write the script and okay, now cool. You still have to film it, edit it, thumbnail, post it, repurpose it. We handle pretty much all of that for you. So it's a AI tool you get access to, and you get access to our team as well. So it's like a done with you, done for you type of service where we really control the entire workflow. We'll build out the conversion mechanism for you. And this allows, like the more control we have since we do it, the more results we're able to get for people because, we have the templates and the systems and what's working. So I think that's what separates us a little bit is we take a super hands-on approach to working with people. We're not just going to give you an AI tool and say like, good luck. We're going to actually like walk you through how to use it, the strategy you should take with it, etc. And obviously we price that way. So there's a trade-off there. Like we could serve many more people if we were to build a SaaS platform, but we sort of hand select the people we work with so we could try to get the best hands-on results as possible.
And how did you get your initial few clients before, even being able to justify with all these case studies? What was
Yeah.
that first few, that sprint like for you?
Yeah, the sprint was crazy. It was really convincing people on the theory of YouTube and media. So a lot of my earlier videos are going over, because this hit me like crazy one day as well, like looking towards, this probably a year ago, looking outwards to where we are now with AI avatars and script writers, like everyone knew this was coming. And when I realized this, I'm like, oh, people have to wake up to the fact that, their brands aren't as replaceable as they think, and they need to start building up their personal brands in mass volume. So that's when I really started to push that content heavy on my pages. I started reaching out to my network. I started reaching out to people that had company brands and saying like, hey, have you ever considered doing this differently, doing this? And once you shift belief in people and they understand like sort of the approach you're taking and why it's important, if they're going to work with anyone, they're going to work with you. So that's sort of really how I started. That's like the push I did to really get started. I did some like warm outreach to my network and people I worked with in the past, and also just switched the content angle I was taking as well to really emphasize like the future of social media and branding. So if you started working with us like a year ago, you're pretty far ahead in terms of like adapting media in the right way. So that's sort of the sprint that occurred about a year ago at this point.
And you guys have come so far in just a short amount of time, which is really amazing because then you can say the proof is in the pudding, right? Look at all the other clients you have generated results for. It isn't just theory, it can be done with AI powered content. Do you think that the future of marketing is going to change significantly with AI?
Yes, I do. And it leaves me wonder, like a lot with social media. So marketing, there's a bunch of angles. There's outreach, there's ads, and then there's content, which is what we're talking about. And I'm sure you've dove into like dead internet theory at some point, and AI generated content just taking over the internet, where you can't even tell what's real, what's fake, right? So there is an angle there which everyone's sort of trying to prepare for, but no one truly knows what's going to happen there. So that's just something that we have to take as it goes. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen regardless. Just try to control as much as you can in your own right. But yeah, marketing is going to change a lot on the social media side. And I still think it's going to come down to authenticity and being you. No matter how much content is out there, I think that if you just be yourself, you'll always attract the people that you want to work with or you want working with you. And that's sort of the route going forward. I also think, on a little side tangent, that these in-person IRL events are going to be super important in the future as well. Building a community, saying, if you get access to my program, my community, we do a quarterly meetup every single year and you could come. So I think those strategies are also super important for businesses, online businesses especially, to look into.
Yeah, and with like more and more AI generated content, and we will see even more of that, then that human touch, right, will probably be that main differentiator, and you still eventually want to be buying from another human. I think that's
Yeah.
something that will never completely fade away, and that's something that brands may want to lean a lot heavier into. Yeah, and Shaz, would be great if you could show us maybe like a demo of how your platform works or certain frameworks that you would love to share with the audience.
Yeah, sure. Let me share my screen here. All right. Let me know if you could see this.
Okay, yes, perfect.
Perfect. So this is our YouTube dashboard. This is the offer we sell to people as well. And I'll give you a very brief rundown of it and what makes it sort of unique. So basically, our clients, they come into this portal here, they log in and they go to content ideas and they generate scripts and do all of their YouTube production right here. So the really big thing that sort of separates this content from going to ChatGPT or Claude is that you have a custom knowledge base of your company that will be used to generate all the content within this knowledge base or within this dashboard, excuse me. So for example, this is my business. This is my business. These are my landing pages, my offer, my ICP, my unique selling points. Like, all of these things are going to be pulled and used by our AI systems to generate me scripts, to write out my content, to repurpose my content. So everything is hyper specific to my business. And the cool thing is, like, let's say I wanted to change my ICP one day. I simply just delete this, type in my new ICP, and it's a dynamic knowledge base. So everything is updated, and I could basically infinitely change the content I make by just changing these answers right here. So I really like that about the system we built out. It's very fluid and it's very easy to use. So basically, in brief, I could see like my content. Like, this is nothing new. This is just seeing my ideas, my scripts, what's recorded, etc. Another AI feature that's in here is basically, let's say I were to make a video like this: how to use podcasts to market your business. So I thought this was relevant because we're on a podcast right now. I'll just say example. And basically what I would do here is, like, I could add a publishing date, whatever, but I'll just add this to my content ideas. So not to overwhelm people, I have a lot of content ideas I have to make, but essentially my clients or myself, I would come in here, I would pick out a content idea I liked, and I would generate a script of that video. So I would pick that video again, and I would say, this is for businesses that need podcasts and leads from them, right? Super simple. Goal of this video: book in sales calls, right? So this would be my call to action: book in sales calls, get people in my newsletter, whatever. So essentially, and then I could do a script outline or a detailed script. I'll just do a shorter script for now. But when I generate this, basically what the AI is going to do, it's going to take the title, it's going to take those few things I just sort of gave them right there, it's going to take my company's knowledge base, and it's going to take our proven scripting frameworks. It's going to combine all those things in the back end, and it's going to spread out a script, a YouTube script, that I could use to record. A really big thing that people struggle with on the YouTube side of things is, like, okay, I could have the video, but what do I say? How do I make it 20 minutes long? Like, that's really intimidating for a lot of people. So we try to set it up so they could just come in here. You can see the script is generating right here. They could come in here and they could see an exact YouTube script. So they could see the hook. So this is live, it just generated. They could see the hook here, what to say. They could see the body on exactly what to talk about. And they could see an outro as well. So that's exactly sort of, and you can see it reflects everything. So, like, this is my company right here. This is the results we've been able to drive. There are a few things you have to fix. Like, obviously it's not 2024, it's 2025. So again, we're in the mindset where take 30 seconds. 2 minutes. Read over this, change the things you don't like. If you don't want to talk about point number 6, delete it. No one cares, right? So you go in as the human being, as the actual expert. You're going to go in, you're going to edit this, and then you're going to record it. And you can see a detailed script. Let's see if I have a version of a detailed script you could see. Because some people prefer like a super end-to-end script. Let's see if I have one of those I could show you. Okay, here's a detailed end-to-end script. So we'll actually write out the entire script for you if you wanted to. So you can see it's pretty in-depth and again, hyper customized to your business. But going back to this example and wrapping things up, basically, after you have the script, you edit it for a second. Our clients will then go ahead and film it, and we give them resources to film. They film it, they mark this video as recorded in the top right corner. And the super cool thing is that from our client's point of view, it's pretty much done after that. So as they mark the video as recorded, our team will get it, we'll edit the video for them, we'll do the thumbnail for them, and we'll post it for them. So what used to take 4 to 5 hours per video, now, took probably about 45 minutes of the time, depending on how good they are at recording things. So that's the YouTube side of things. And then wrapping things up, we also have the repurposing center. So we encourage to use AI to just expand your reach. It takes a little effort. So I have some videos that are live on my YouTube channel. For example, here's a LinkedIn video I made. If I wanted to repurpose this YouTube video to any of these platforms, I would just pick the platform. I pick the template that I wanted to repurpose in, and then I would just hit repurpose. And basically, super simple workflow here. The video is going to just repurpose. So it should pop up right here. And yeah, that's just a way that we're turning our clients' YouTube videos into tweets for them, into LinkedIn posts for them, into short form content scripts for them. It's just a way to add more leverage with, again, little to no effort. And the same sort of system applies is like you would click on the LinkedIn post. So this is like an example of a LinkedIn post that is AI written. It's pretty in depth. They would pick their posts. They would go ahead and draft out the ones they like. So they could be like, I like this one, draft it out, whatever. And then we have this whole board down here. Now, you're the LinkedIn master. I'm actually lacking on LinkedIn myself, so I don't have much going on. But you could draft out LinkedIn posts. You could schedule them. You could see what's published. You could have a content calendar, etc. So basically the same YouTube workflow we just worked through, you could do for all these other platforms using our repurposing center. So we're heavily YouTube focused, but then also we try to give people the option to repurpose to these other platforms, leveraging this dashboard. So yeah, all in all, that's pretty much a short version of the system. And then obviously you have like content calendars. You could track your progress of like how many videos you've posted and the stages of the videos, some analytic stuff there. But yeah, that's in brief the dashboard that I use and then that we also help other people use as well.
And how intuitive it is. A lot of times when people, build their own tools and systems, it's great, but it's not as intuitive. But when you go through your system, it's like, oh, this makes sense here, this makes sense there. And I think as a user going through the flow, you'll be like, oh, this is pretty intuitive. I think that's a great job on your team.
Thank you. Yeah, it's something we worked out a lot. It's the last thing you want to do is overcomplicate something that's simple. So we just try to take a top-down approach where it's like, if you do an action, just go to the action beneath it and then just keep on going down. That's literally just follow it all the way down. That's pretty much the thing that you want to do because content for a lot of people is scary enough. We don't want to make it overcomplicated, So yeah.
And I can see how it's very, very useful especially for YouTube. Like a 20-minute video is very daunting, even for a more seasoned LinkedIn creator like me. I would prefer doing short form content. And
Yeah.
like what you said, how do you stretch a 5-minute topic to something that's robust enough for a 20-minute face-to-camera conversation? So being able to then look back at your dashboard and be like, okay, I have a script, I have a flow. Now I know my talking points. I think it gives the creator so much more confidence to get things done quicker as well.
Yeah, 100%. It's helping you stretch ideas, and the great part about it, it's an extension of your knowledge because you have a knowledge base in here. It's basically just reminding you of things you know. The reason a lot of people can't make a 20-minute YouTube video is not because of lack of knowledge, it's because lack of remembering the knowledge they have, right? So it's just bringing back the points that they already know, saying like, hey, your knowledge base mentions you do X, Y, and Z. Why don't you talk about it? And people are like, oh yeah, I did do that. I did get this person results. I do know this. Let's go ahead and talk about it. So it's more so it's just like it's support and it's helping people again just cut down the time it takes to think about this process because ideation on YouTube, like you'll spend an hour after the script trying to improve the script and make it longer, which is like a complete waste of time. So that's sort of why that's there.
Also curious to know, right, given your experience on YouTube is a channel that most companies, I would say, dare not venture into because it can be very daunting in terms
Yeah.
of the kind of content and production quality you need, right? I'm curious to know, like, how difficult or easy is it for someone to start building a brand on YouTube? And also, do they really need a high production quality in order to exist on that platform? These are the two common questions that I often get when people talk about YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah, let me touch on those because those are things I get all the time. So,
Yeah.
one, YouTube is probably the most difficult platform to get reach on and engagement. And there's two ways to look about it. So, you could take that at face value and be like, well, why would I start that? If it's hard for you, it's hard for all of the other competition in your niche. That's sort of why I like to be there because if I can make 20-minute videos consistently month over month and my competition can't, that's a huge advantage for me. That's why we built the system, etc. So that's number one. It's like it is hard, but it being hard is a good thing because no one else is willing to do the hard things, you know? So that's number one. Another thing is like we're looking at it from an acquisition point of view. So we're again not trying to go viral. If you get 50 qualified leads, 100 qualified leads on your video, you need two people to book in a call for you to make a few $1,000s for your service or for your SaaS company. So you don't really need to blow it out of proportions in terms of views. You just need to make sure those views are really targeted. That comes down to your title, your packaging, how you present yourself in your videos, etc. So leading to how you present yourself, a lot of people overcomplicate this, and I think it's the most tragic thing because you do not need a fancy setup. For the longest time, I used my MacBook camera right here, and I used these wired headphones, which I'm using now, which is not the most professional thing. A lot of people have like the Shure mics, the mics that
Yeah.
swing, like those
Yeah.
things are all amazing. Yeah, those things are great, but it's not necessary to start. Again, the advantage here is you. It's you. It's how you speak, it's how you talk. And as long as you're in a quiet room with a light and with decent audio, you have the requirements. And the best thing about it is like most people have that on their mobile devices nowadays. Like that's all you really need to start. So yeah, I don't think you need to be fancy. It is preferred, but it's not necessary.
Right, who have a specific product, because I work with a lot of founders myself who perhaps are launching a whole new service in and a whole new solution in which there isn't actually a niche defined yet because it's so new.
Okay.
How would they then get visibility on a platform if their solution isn't something that people would naturally search for? Is that
Yeah.
something you have come across?
Yeah, so we have worked with a handful of AI companies that have built something that is new or whatever. And the way we approach it is still similar. So even if you're building something new, you're still targeting people. And these people still are experiencing pain, the pain that your thing is trying to solve. So we're still reworking those pain points. So, the most classic sense, let's say, is again, let's go back to Google Ads. If you're working with the Google Ads agency and they're struggling to sign clients, you could have a new AI automated crazy system, but you're still solving that base problem of getting people more clients with Google Ads. So you're still going to make the same videos. You're just going to display a different solution, which is your new solution, your shiny thing. Like, I don't think you need to create a new market. Actually, a good analogy for this is when we do content research and we look up videos that, haven't performed well in the past, it's not because you're going to go in. So like, let's say you look up a video title and the videos that come up when you look it up on YouTube is basically 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 1 year ago, all pretty old videos. They all have a few hundred views, right? You might think like, oh, this is great. I'm going to go in, I'm going to make a video and I'm going to just get all these views on this video because these other people just didn't make the video right. Well, that's not because they didn't do it right. It's because no one wants to watch that video, right? Like you're not going to come in here and just be like an outlier and just redefine everything. So looking at what's working for other people and just keeping it simple is probably the best way to go about it. Even if you're working with a new solution, a new niche, a new industry, is just see what's working for other people and don't overcomplicate it because sometimes the most like fancy jargon, like I use it a lot in my videos sometimes, like AI automation, flywheel, acquisition, infrastructure, like all these, these fancy words, you're talking about the same thing. You're talking about getting leads, right? So just keep it simple.
Yeah, awesome tips, awesome tips. And maybe before we wrap up, Shaz, I would love to know a bit more about your personal entrepreneurial journey.
Sure.
How has this journey been for you? What is your biggest high and your greatest low?
Oh man. Yeah, starting with the low, I would say, so again, like 16, try to start making money online, did that all the way through high school, all the way through college, etc. And the biggest low was probably 18 months ago, a year ago, 18 months ago, 20 months ago, when I was in between trying to make the AI business really take off and work. And I was in between graduating university at the same time and having, the pressure of the family and the friends of going to jobs and doing this. So like I was sitting there with a decent head start, nothing really figured out, but at the same time, I needed to have things figured out. So that was a huge point where it was really, I had a job offer as well. This is a tough point. I had a job offer out of college and I had this AI business and, I was like, screw it, I might as well do this AI business. I mean, I can always get another job, right? So that was a huge point because of outside pressures, doubting myself. Like it's hard to believe in something that you have no proof of. So that was a pretty low point, and I'm glad I stuck it through. And I guess a high point would be probably the last year, just connecting with other people. I think that all the things we talk about are great. Building a brand, acquisition, leads, revenue, awesome. Networking is also a huge part of content. And I've been able to meet some really, really cool people like yourself, like other business owners. I've been able to travel. That's like multiple different continents this year already, just going to networking events and doing different things. I think that it's been a high just connecting with other people as business owners and founders. We're weird, right? We only want to talk about business. We can't relate to a lot of other things. So meeting those people has been a really high experience. And then, being able to travel on top of it is just, the cherry on top. So I would say that's been the high, is just meeting other people and being able to travel and do what I enjoy.
So, and maybe one final tip that I
Yeah.
would love for you to share with the audience. What is one thing that you think everyone should be doing right now?
I think everyone right now should be looking at ways to use AI in their business. That's an obvious one. And then also start posting content. I just think that the opportunity is much outweighs the downside. The worst thing is you waste 2 hours a week recording videos and no one sees them. The best thing is you meet a connection, you get a new client, you get on podcasts like this, you open infinite doors. Like it's very silly not to at least put yourself out there and at least try. That's one like business thing. And then another thing is realize I think that no work gets wasted. I think it's something that Alex Hormozy says that I really like from someone that's failed a lot and done a lot of businesses, is all of the collective experiences and failures of past ventures will accumulate to success in the future. So as long as you keep on working at something, no work really gets wasted, even though in the short term it feels like you're just wasting your time. All this stuff makes sense in the future. I think that's a cool mental framework that I sometimes use. So, just keep on, I guess, grinding away and eventually everything will just make sense.
And it's like all the no's that you're gonna get right now is just getting you one step closer to the yes.
To
And
the
I
yes,
think
yeah.
having that mentality is also important when you're running your own business. So with that, thank you so much for joining us on the show, Shaz. Where can our listeners find you?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Everyone, I think the best way to find me is probably on YouTube. So Shaz Matthew, ShazMathew. I'm on LinkedIn and some other places as well. If you want to reach out, say you came from the podcast, I would love to connect with you.
Thank you again for sharing your insights. We learned so much about YouTube and so much more today. And thank you, folks, for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the bell for more actionable AI and marketing insights. We'll see you next week. Take care.